Hi, my name is Mariusz, and today I would like to talk about functional interface in Java 8. All functional interfaces are put into the one package. It's called Java Util Function, and there are a lot of functional interfaces there. We have, I don't know, 30 few interfaces put there. And but the question is what the functional interface is. It's a interface that contain only one method that can be used in functional programming. There is usually some other method, but it's a default method. So we talk about methods that don't have any body. It's not a default method in functional interface. And also usually functional interface is annotated with functional interface annotation. It just tell compiler that we want this interface to be functional interface, so there have to be only one method that should be there, and this helps just compiler to check if our method annotated with our interface annotated with functional interface annotation contain only one method without body that can be so it can be used as a functional interface. And today I would like to talk about four of those interfaces. I mean there are function, predicate, consumer, and supplier. I will try to talk about the rest of them in the next video, but those for me those are basics functional interfaces that are used often. The rest of them are some kind of mutation of those four. So let's start with functional interface called function. This functional interface accept argument of type T, this is string in our case, and return argument of type R. So in our case is just a person. So we can implement our interface in that way. So we provide some value that will be a string based on this information, and it will produce for us new object of type person. So it's also this information is here, and how we can use this interface. I'm not sure if you noticed that interface function contain only one method type, one method called apply. So we apply argument of type T, and we get argument of type R. This means we apply to our function argument of type string, and it will produce us argument of type person. So we can check this by running function and using the method apply, and we can apply here information, some kind of string. So let's apply a Mariusz, and if we assign this to some kind of variable, we get a person object, so we can just print it out, and we will notice that person object is just a simple object that contain only one field name and a simple constructor with that field plus toString method. Just this method just print name. Print a string representation of our object. So if we will run this, let's comment this out. If we run this function method, so our functional interface, we will get in representation of person object where we have a name, Mariusz. And that's all. The function is used in streams, so I will show you this later. It's used in map function, for example, so it can map one object of type T into object of type R. Next one is predicate. Predicate will accept argument of type T and will always produce argument of type boolean. So we can see here that it accepts type T and produce boolean, and it have only one method called test. So we can use it the same way how the function was used. So we can write predicate dot test, and here we have a string as a input, and this variable name called name will be tested if length is longer than 3. So this predicate will return us true if length is longer than 3, and false if it's shorter. So if I write here and I will assign it to some kind of variable, and can print this. So if I run this, I should get true. And if I change this to cat and run it again, we should get false exactly. Oh, this part is not visible here. Okay, we should get false. Yeah, and for Mariusz is true. I will just bring the function again because that was not visible in the previous example. So if we run this function again, we can see that there is a representation of our object, and let's return to the predicate. And predicate can be used in the filter method of our stream, because it can just test each value if evaluate into true or false. Next one is a consumer. Consumer is a functional interface that accept argument of type T and return nothing because it consumed that value. So if we look at our interface, we can see that it accept type T and return void. It have only one method accept that just accept this parameter of type T. The easiest way to show this is just use a system out print line, and we have a variable called name, and we are consuming this and printing hello and name. So we can just test it here. Consumer accept. And second one, I have here a person consumer, so it consume a person object. The person is of the type T is person, and I also just printing it out, printing hello plus person name to uppercase, so it's uppercase always. And if we assign this, it's not return nothing, it's return nothing, so we don't have to assign it. And let's create a person. And let's use the second consumer, because as I said, this type is a generic type, so you can enter here anything you want. Just you have to know how to. You just have to write a function that consume this type of value. So if I run this, we will notice that we have Hello Mariusz from this consumer and Hello Mario from this person consumer. It consumer can be used if we talk about stream. It can be used for each method. And at the end we have a supplier. Supplier is a functional interface that accepts nothing and produce some type of T. So we have here method get that accept nothing and produce type T. So in our case, this supplier just produce stream of strings. So we can run this supplier list dot get, and it will just produce a stream of strings. And we can just use for each, and I should use here okay, and if I run this, we should see 3 values printed down there. And we can create some stream with this. Let's say we want to take a supplier. I will just copy it up here, and this one produces a string. So let's take this one, predicate also, and the function that will just change our string into names. So with those function we can create a simple stream. So let's start with supplier get. We have a stream at this moment, so let's filter this with our predicate. So only names that are longer than 3 will pass this filter. And let's use map. So map accept a function. We have a function up there, so all the names that pass the filter will be will go through the function and will be transferred into person objects. And at the end we want just use for each and use their consumer, but I took the wrong consumer because it's consuming a string, and we have a person there. So I will just change it to this one, person consumer, and if I run this, we should see 2 values, Paul and John, with the hello at the beginning, and both of them are uppercase. And yeah, that's all for today. In the next video I will try to talk about more about other functions that are in this Java util function package, and probably I will try to record few videos about those functional interfaces, because there are many of them, and probably I don't have enough time to talk about all of them in just one video. So thank you for today, and see you next time. Bye bye.